Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be taking a look at a new blog post that the Battlefield Studios have just released, and it is going to be covering Season What Some For, but more so, how Battlefield 6 has changed over the past few months, including community sentiment around it, and what they plan to change also going forward. As we know, there's been a lot of changes to vehicles, gunplay, that sort of thing, so we're going to get into that. There's also a few leaks I want to look at, namely some of the weapons coming in Season 4. A lot of you guys will have spotted them in the trailer yesterday, and also a very interesting gadget. So as always guys, if you do enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with everything Battlefield, and we're going to jump into this one right now. So this is just a community update here, and they say, as we prepare for Season 4, we wanted to take a moment to reflect on how Battlefield 6 has evolved since launch. Over the past several months, Battlefield 6 has grown into a broader, more varied experience than it was at launch. The game now features 15 multiplayer maps, up from 9 at launch, alongside 58 weapons, new vehicles, returning modes, seasonal events, and community-created ways to play. That growth has been shaped directly by your feedback across our community channels, through Battlefield Labs, and by how you play the game. One of the clearest examples has been map variety. While we've seen both community conversations and player surveys reflect a positive shift, as battlefields like Railway to Golmud and Cairo Bazaar have expanded the ways that you can play. With Season 4 landing on July 21st, we are building up that momentum through the addition of Naval Warfare, the introduction of Suru Reef, and return of Wake Island later in the season, and more updates shaped by your feedback. If it's been a while since your last deployment, there's never been a better time to jump back in. And I have to agree, even though that's obviously a marketing bit there, I do agree the game has improved a lot. So if you were somebody who played Battlefield 6 at launch and it just wasn't your cup of tea, and you own the game regardless, right, then I definitely give it another look and jump back in to see if it's better for you now. So Naval Warfare returns in the Season 4. Obviously, we covered this in yesterday's video, but let's just quickly skim over this. So Season 4 expands Battlefield's all-out warfare with the return of Naval Warfare, introducing an all-new lineup of naval vehicles designed specially for combat across open water. These new boats expand Battlefield's combined arms sandbox, introducing new tactical opportunities throughout every match. Supporting Naval Warfare is an all-new dynamic wave system that changes how battles play out on the water, bringing another compelling element to naval combat. Battlefield has always been about player choice. Some battlefields are designed around fast-paced infantry combat, while others provide room to maneuver, make use of vehicles, and approach objectives from different angles. Naval Warfare builds on that philosophy by expanding how players can approach every engagement. Together with Suru Reef, Naval Warfare brings Battlefield's signature land, sea, and air combat together into one experience. If you haven't seen our action-packed Season 4 gameplay trailer, which I'm sure most of you guys have by now, make sure to check it out here. We'll also be taking a closer look at Naval Warfare and how to use the new naval vehicles in the days ahead. Oh, so that's pretty interesting. It sounds like we can expect more blog posts like this one during the week. I'd also fully expect, guys, that they're going to drop the patch notes, and when they do, I'll be making a video on those, so don't forget to stay tuned for that. I do like the fact here that they are adding larger maps to the game. I've seen some people complaining about this actually, and I think after Battlefield 2042, which only had large maps that had far too much open space because of course they were catering to those 128 player sizes, they basically went a little bit too far in the other direction. They made too many small maps for Battlefield 6 on launch. It really felt like the larger maps like Liberation Peak, Mirak Valley, etc. didn't really hit the mark, but now these newer ones, you know, Golmud Railway, and indeed Suru Reef here, they really seem to be impressive large maps that I've been at least having a lot of fun in. So really good to see them. Of course, they're not going to be for everybody. They are vehicular maps. They have the all-out warfare on them. If you're more of an infantry player, you might prefer the infantry maps there, but now I feel like there is something for everybody, so that's good. Okay, launching alongside Season 4, Suru Reef is a brand new battlefield built around naval warfare and Battlefield's signature combined arms gameplay. Designed to support combat across land, air, and sea, Suru Reef offers a variety of ways to approach every match. As one of our largest battlefields, it gives players more room to maneuver, open up new flanking opportunities, coordinate vehicle pushes, and choose how they want to tackle each objective. Whether you're taking the fight onto the water or leading the charge on land, Suru Reef is designed to create memorable battlefield moments while giving you the freedom to play your way. And we'll be sharing a dedicated look at Suru Reef before Season 4 launches, exploring the map's layout, design philosophy, and the new opportunities it creates for players. So they've done one of those, I think, for Goldmud Railway. They also did one for Cairo Bazaar, a bit of a deep dive there with the actual map developers and the designers. So looking forward to that. Okay, this is kind of the section I've been getting interested in here, Battlefield 6 today. And here they're going to be taking a look back at how Battlefield 6 has evolved over the past several months. So they say we've expanded the fight between NATO and Pax Armata with new maps like Railway to Goldmud and Cairo Bazaar, while continuing to refine the overall experience based on your feedback. With these additions, we've seen community sentiment around our maps improve significantly through our Discord surveys as players continue discovering experiences that match their preferred style. So here are some of the results from the surveys, and if you guys have not participated in any, I've done several of them. And there's usually a question here of like, what are the things that most negatively impact your experience of playing Battlefield 6? And then on the flip side, what are the things that most positively impact it? And here we can see a bit of a slide of how it's changed from January all the way through to June where we are now. So map highlights, so people basically listing maps as a highlight of the experience of playing Battlefield 6 has gone up from 24% to 56%, and major concerns, maps being one of them, has gone down from 65% to 18%. So I think that really just shows how much they have improved the maps. And really, you know, I do have to tip my hat to DICE because I think the seasonal maps that they've been bringing, especially seasons 2, 3, and now it looks like 4 as well, have been just so much better than the base maps that the game launched with. So good stuff there. And they continue here saying, today Battlefield 6 features an expansive arsenal of weapons alongside a growing roster of vehicles, whether that's taking to the skies in the Little Bird or racing across the battlefield on the dirt bike, combined with new modes, community experiences, seasonal events, and ranked battle royale. Battlefield 6 offers more variety than ever before. With Season 4 just around the corner, Battlefield 6 will continue to expand with new weapons, vehicles, maps, and experiences. And of course, they've just recently said that they're going to be supporting Battlefield 6 for at least the next 2 years. So, you know, the seasons that we've got so far are only going to be taking us into like January. We don't really know what's beyond that, but whatever support means, I'm hoping that means more maps and vehicles and weapons and stuff like that. So what players are enjoying right now? One of the best parts of every game update is seeing how quickly we see you find new ways to create unforgettable moments. One of the biggest conversations following our latest update has been around the improvements to gunplay and netcode. Across our community channels, many of you have been highlighting the more predictable recoil, stronger weapon identity, and more responsive firefights. We've also seen positive discussion around the return of limb damage multipliers, with many players feeling that engagements now reward accuracy and weapon mastery while remaining approachable for new weapons. And I would mostly agree with that. I think it has somewhat changed the game for the better, but the time to kill is still very fast, so I would really like to see them make additional changes in that regard. Okay, so this section is called Season 3 by the Numbers, and we did cover this loosely in yesterday's video. So Railway to Goldmud, that one quickly became Battlefield 6's most played map during Season 3, while with players spending over 16 million hours battling across its large-scale sandbox. That's nearly 2.5 times the playtime of the next most played map, which was Contaminated, which continues to be a favourite from Season 2. Cairo Bazaar, despite arriving midway through Season 3, has already accumulated more than 5.7 million hours of gameplay as players continue jumping into its fast-paced infantry combat. The return of Obliteration has generated more than 413 million hours of explosive gameplay, showing just how enthusiastically the community has welcomed its return. I think it's probably one of the better game modes they've added there as well. And then we've got Ranked Battle Royale. That has surpassed 1 billion gameplay hours, which is actually kind of surprising there, because I guess there really must be a lot of free-to-play players who don't play Conquest and that still playing RedSec, even though it's maybe not our favourite mode, with competitors continuing to climb the ladder and earn their place among Battlefield's best. The M16A4 became Battlefield 6's most deployed weapon, with more than twice the deployment of any other weapon in the game. That is pretty crazy there. And then finally here, the race for the most played mode has never been closer. Throughout Season 3, Conquest, Breakthrough, and Battle Royale all rank within roughly 200 million player gameplay hours of one another, showing just how diverse our community is. So that actually, like I said, is a surprise. It feels like the feedback I get from you guys, and maybe just from my own opinions as well, is that the Battle Royale mode is by far the least played the least liked mode in the game. I play Battlefield for Conquest and Breakthrough and game modes like that, and I think I'm right in saying that a large percentage of you guys who watch my videos are doing the same thing. So maybe it's just because I don't make content about the Battle Royale, and so people who do play that don't watch my videos. That could certainly be the case, but apparently here, there's just as many people playing that mode as the others. Battlefield 6 continues to evolve through the conversations we have with you. From Battlefield Labs throughout every season since launch, your feedback has helped shape our priorities, and many of the improvements introduced throughout live service began with discussions across our community channels. So first of all, of course, we had combat. One of the biggest areas of focus throughout live service has been Battlefield's core combat experience. Across multiple seasons, we've refined weapon handling, improved hit registration and netcode, enhanced soldier visibility, and updated movement responsiveness to help every firefight feel more consistent, predictable, and rewarding. Our latest update in Season 3 marked another major step forward for Battlefield's gunplay. We introduced significant changes designed to create a more intuitive gunplay experience while continuing to reward skill-based play and weapon mastery. It's been fantastic to see so many of you already sharing positive feedback around these improvements, and we'll continue monitoring gameplay data alongside your feedback as we evaluate future opportunities to further improve Battlefield's combat. So yeah, on that section there, I would reiterate what I said before with the TDK. I think another little pain point is the random spread that exists in the game at the moment, because sometimes it can cause you to get random limb hits. And if you get like one random limb hit, that is not going to impact how many bullets it takes to kill somebody. But if you randomly get 2, it actually increases the amount of bullets by 1 for, I think, every weapon in the game. Don't quote me on that. My memory's not great on it, but I think that's the way that it works, and that doesn't feel great. So I kind of wish they'd maybe like rein in the spread, or make it so you had to burst to control your spread a little bit more. But that's neither here nor there. Let's continue on here. They've also continued refining many of these systems that support your overall Battlefield experience. Progression has been one of the biggest areas of focus throughout the live service. Sorry, my cat is just going nuts at the moment. Where am I? Based on your feedback, we've made progression faster and more rewarding by increasing XP opportunities, simplifying challenges, and helping players unlock meaningful weapons, gadgets, and attachments earlier in their journey. Today, players progress through the Battle Pass more than 2.5 times faster on average than they did during Season 1, while hardware mastery improvements help unlock primary weapon attachments roughly 50% faster across all weapon categories. Alongside progression, we've continued improving menus and other quality of life systems to help you spend less time configuring your experience and more time playing Battlefield. And they're going to continue monitoring gameplay data alongside your feedback as we look for new opportunities to improve quality of life systems throughout Season 4. So yeah, they have made a lot of improvements there. It really is a lot less painful than it was before to level up your weapons, get through the Battle Pass, even get your career XP and get to, the all-important level where you actually unlock the weapons in the game. So once again, if you're a new player, that experience should be a bit more streamlined. Now, I'm going to just skip over these 2 sections. Play your way. Basically, all they're saying here is that they've introduced lots of maps for different playstyles, whether you're a vehicle player, an all-out warfare player, an infantry player. They've tried to sort of cater to everybody. That's cool. Ranked Battle Royale, we all know about that, right? They've introduced that in Season 3, and there's going to be coming a new season of it with Season 4, so let's just skim over that one. But now we get to the more to come section, and they say Season 4 doesn't stop there. Later in the season, Wake Island returns to Battlefield 6, bringing one of the franchise's most iconic battlefields back for a new generation of Battlefield players. Alongside new content, we'll continue sharing gameplay updates, community events, and more details on what's still to come throughout Season 4. We are also looking forward to continuing the conversation with you. Keep an eye out for our next Battlefield community Q&A after Season 4 launches, where we'll be answering your questions and talking about the topics that matter most to you. So if you're not aware, they sometimes do these Q&As on Discord. I believe they've only done 1 so far, and you can leave your questions there and the developers will answer them. As usual, I will be doing another video follow-up with all of the important answers for you guys, so don't worry that if you miss out on that, you'll be able to catch it on my channel. And then finally here, just to wrap up, they basically just say, you know, we're building this game with you. Thank you for your feedback. Keep it coming. And we're going to keep Battlefield 6 evolving here. So basically just kind of a summary there of exactly what they've done so far for Battlefield 6 to try to, of course, get new players into the game with Season 4. Now, moving on from that, I do want to cover a few leaks and some new bits of information for you guys. So first of all here, from Battlefield Bulletin, I don't know exactly where he got this information because basically, move out the way, Cat. This is his sort of summary of what I've just read, but he also adds here at the end that Season 5 will add 5 maps in total, 2 reworks, and 3 new maps. The game will continue to expand with new weapons, vehicles, maps, and experiences. So I don't know if he's just taking that from the aforementioned roadmap that we had for the game. Of course, I think the 2 reworks here that they are referring to, or he's referring to, is going to be Blackwell Fields and New Sobek City. I don't think it's going to be like reworks outside of that, like some of the other maps. And then we're getting 3 new maps in Season 5. DICE have already confirmed, or Battlefield Studios have already confirmed that it's not going to be 2 for Season 5, it's going to be 3. So it's going to be interesting to see how many we get there. Then we have this little tidbit from one of the community managers over on Discord, Gunslinger43, and this guy here is asking about considering changing or removing 3D spotting is what he means here. So when you fire your weapon in Battlefield 6, if you do not have a suppressor or a flash hider on your weapon, you will actually be spotted not only on the minimap, but in the 3D world. Like a little diamond appears above your head and flashes as you fire your weapon. And he says, we've forwarded the feedback to the team. I don't have any more info from them at this point, but I know that they've been discussing it internally, especially after the visibility update went live. So it's good to hear that they are thinking about that. I don't think that's ever been a feature in any of the older Battlefield games. Yes, 3D spotting has, where you can manually spot somebody in the game, but not being 3D spotted in the world when you fire your weapon. So I personally would like to see it removed because right now it feels like the meta is basically take a suppressor and that's it. That's where you start your weapon build. You take a suppressor and you build everything else around that. Not taking a suppressor just feels a little bit too punishing. Okay, moving on to some leaks here. Some of you will have spotted these weapons, like I said, already in yesterday's trailer, but it looks like these are going to be the 4 coming with Season 4. And we've got the EF88, which is, of course, like some sort of variant here, or rename of the legendary Orge 3, a very iconic bullpup weapon. Then we've got the Bren 3. Then we have the VSS-M, which is basically just the VSS, another really iconic weapon. It always comes for every Battlefield game at some point or another, so these totally make sense to me. And then we've got a new sniper here, Desert Tech HTI. I'm not really too familiar with this one, but I'm sure there's some weapon nerd who's going to drop it down in the comments, so feel free to do that if that's you. Now, there's also another thread, interestingly enough, that I found on Reddit yesterday, and this has some new leaks from this guy called FKer, over on Bilibili, which is kind of like the Chinese YouTube. But anyway, I digress. Now, some of these are just like weapon skins. Like here, for example, you've got for the Stinger. Then you've got some for the AK. However, then we find an image which looks like the Carl Gustav to me. And here it is in the actual files. And it's called the Panzerfaust 3. This is probably just going to be some temporary name here. So I don't know if that confirms that that is going to be one of the new gadgets coming in Season 4. It doesn't necessarily have to be in Season 4. It might not even come to the game at all, because after all, this is just a leak, and that is no guarantee that they're going to put that in. But as we all know, the Carl Gustav is a very iconic weapon, and right now, Battlefield 6 is kind of missing what the... Oh, what was the name of it? We had like the RPG, and then we had the... Not the Igler. What am I thinking of here? The S'more. The S'more. I literally had to Google that, guys, to figure it out. Couldn't remember for the life of me. So yeah, we had the RPG and the S'more. The S'more in Battlefield 4 fired faster. It had less drop on it, but of course, it was easier to hit targets, right? And it did less damage than the RPG. So I wonder if that is going to be the role here of the Carl Gustav, and they're going to sort of balance the RPG against that. I suppose we'll see. One other thing to show you before I go here, and I'm not sure how many of you guys noticed this yesterday on the trailer, because how long do you actually spend looking at a thumbnail before you click on the YouTube video, right? But I did, and this is the thumbnail from yesterday's gameplay trailer that I've downloaded, and it's kind of interesting. This aircraft carrier here, it kind of slopes up at the end there, very interesting. It almost makes me want to take a bike on there and just fling it off the end, you know. It actually looks really, really fun to have a jet take off there. Unfortunately, it kind of looks like the jet's going to be taking off this way, not that way, although I'm sure you can do it if you really want to. Actually, thinking about it, maybe this is only for landing and this is the takeoff bit. I don't know. I don't know enough about aircraft carriers. But a lot of people have pointed out, funnily enough, that it kind of looks like this aircraft carrier. This is a Russian was. It's called the Kuznetsov. And as far as I gather, it's not very good. It mostly just sort of sits there wasting away. So, I don't know. There seems to be some kind of inside joke about this aircraft carrier that I don't get. Maybe, once again, somebody can explain it down in the comments. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. As always, don't forget to leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all the Battlefield 6 news. There's going to be a lot of it coming this week and next. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys as always so much for watching. Have a good one. And it's goodbye from me. And goodbye from this little baby here. She's been doing a lot of complaining, by the way, while I've been recording here. You caused me a lot of editing, you have.